The Champions League has produced ties that transcend mere competition, morphing into epic sagas defined by moments of pure footballing theatre. Manchester City and Real Madrid epitomise this. They're not the only European heavyweights, but when destiny throws them together, football ceases to be a game of tactics and statistics. It becomes a spectacle of unfiltered drama where the best are pushed to their absolute limits. Some moments are burned into the memory. Rodrigo's astonishing brace in 2 chaotic minutes at the Bernabeu, or the night City reduced Madrid to mere spectators at the Etihad. You simply never know what will unfold when these two collide. Plans can be ripped apart, dominance can vanish in an instant. Now, as they prepare to lock horns once more, one question lingers. Who will carve their name into history this time? The first time Manchester City and Real Madrid clashed in a Champions League knockout tie was back in the 2015-16 season. Back then, City were still newcomers on Europe's grandest stage, stepping into the semi-finals with dreams of glory. But what unfolded on the pitch was a harsh reality check. The gulf in class between them and Real Madrid was still vast. The first leg at the Etihad was tense yet uneventful, a cagey affair devoid of goals. Then came the return leg at the Bernabeu, where a cruel twist of fate decided the tie. Gareth Bale's effort took a wicked deflection off Fernando, wrong-footing the keeper and trickling into the net. That single moment sent Madrid to the final, where they would go on to lift the trophy. For City, it was their first painful lesson in the unforgiving nature of the Champions League. 4 years later, the two sides met again in the round of 16 in the 2019-20 season. But this time, Manchester City were no longer the inexperienced underdogs of years past. Under Pep Guardiola, they had evolved into a well-oiled, possession-dominant machine. At the Bernabeu, City played with confidence and steel, securing a statement 2-1 victory on away soil, with Kevin De Bruyne coolly converting from the penalty spot to seal the win. The return leg at the Etihad followed a similar script. Real Madrid fought back, but City had all the answers. Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling delivered the knockout blow, securing another 2-1 victory. For the first time in their history, Manchester City had eliminated Real Madrid in a Champions League knockout tie. But just 3 years later, Madrid would return the favour in devastating fashion. In the 2021/22 semi-finals, the two giants locked horns again in what would go down as one of the most chaotic, breathtaking ties in the history of the competition. The first leg at the Etihad was a footballing spectacle, an end-to-end thriller that saw Manchester City edge a 4-3 victory. But for Real Madrid, a narrow defeat was just enough to keep their hopes alive heading back to the Bernabeu. In the return leg, City executed a near-perfect game plan. They controlled the tempo, shut Madrid down, and by the 89th minute held a commanding 5-3 lead on aggregate. It looked done and dusted. But just when the world thought it was over, Real Madrid reminded everyone why they are the undisputed kings of the Champions League. Rodrigo's stunning quick-fire brace in the space of 90 seconds turned the tie on its head, sending the Bernabeu into utter delirium. City were stunned, collapsed in extra time, and Karim Benzema's composed penalty sealed their fate. Madrid marched on to the final, where they saw off Liverpool to claim yet another European crown. For Pep Guardiola, it was arguably the most painful defeat of his career. But football always allows room for revenge. 1 year later, destiny brought them back together in the semi-finals of the 2022/23 Champions League. This time, there would be no late collapses, no moments of madness. City arrived at the Bernabeu with an entirely different mentality. A composed 1-1 draw in Spain gave them the platform they needed for the second leg. And at the Etihad, Manchester City put on a masterclass. Bernardo Silva ran the show with a brilliant brace. Eder Militao's own goal compounded Madrid's misery, and Julian Alvarez applied the finishing touch in a crushing 4-0 victory. There was no escape for Los Blancos this time. As if it were written in the stars, City went on to complete their destiny, sweeping aside Inter Milan in the final to lift their first ever Champions League trophy. Every time Manchester City and Real Madrid collide, another chapter is etched into the history of the Champions League. One side carries the royal bloodline of European football, battle-hardened by decades of triumph, built for the biggest moments. The other, a fearless challenger, determined to break the old order and carve out a dynasty of its own. There is no room for dull encounters between these two. Every meeting is a war of attrition, where only the best survive and claim glory. And now, fate has once again brought them face to face in Europe's grandest arena. Will this be another tale of Madrid's redemption, or will City reaffirm their place as the best team in the world? The answer awaits at the Etihad and the Bernabeu, where legends are made and the greatest battles are fought. By the 2023-24 season, fate once again brought Manchester City and Real Madrid together, this time in the quarter-finals. Two intense battles ended in a 3-3 draw at the Bernabeu and a 1-1 stalemate at the Etihad, forcing the tie to be decided from the penalty spot. On a night of high drama in Madrid, Real emerged victorious, with goalkeeper Andriy Lunin producing heroics to dethrone City and end their dreams of back-to-back European crowns. If football is a battle of philosophies, then Manchester City and Real Madrid represent two perfect opposites. One is Spain's royal powerhouse, where the DNA of victory runs deep. The other is football's most sophisticated machine, engineered to perfection by Pep Guardiola, where control and tactical mastery are the ultimate weapons. Two contrasting styles, yet their paths always seem to cross in the Champions League, creating battles that are not just about winning or losing, but about defining how football is played at the highest level. Real Madrid are a team that doesn't need to dominate for 90 minutes, but they always know how to deliver the killer blow in a single moment. That has become Real Madrid's identity. From Sergio Ramos's last-gasp equaliser in 2014 to Rodrigo's 2-minute madness against Manchester City in 2022, they have never needed complete dominance to turn the tide. They don't need to control a game for 90 minutes, only the right moments. That is why, even in matches where they are completely outplayed, Real Madrid remain the undisputed kings of the Champions League. Their strength isn't in possession stats or pass completion rates. It lies in their ability to turn despair into glory in the blink of an eye. Manchester City, on the other hand, have built their dynasty on absolute control. Their football has no room for luck or unpredictable bursts of brilliance. Every pass, every movement is calculated to perfection, as if each match is a chess game pre-programmed by Pep Guardiola. When City execute their plan flawlessly, they are almost untouchable, just as they suffocated Real Madrid in the 2023 semi-final. But that very philosophy can sometimes make them vulnerable against a team that thrives on breaking the rules. One lapse in concentration, one moment of hesitation, and the most meticulously crafted game plan can come crashing down in an instant. Fate has ensured that Pep Guardiola can never escape Real Madrid throughout his career. Back in his Barcelona days, he was their ultimate tormentor. But once he left La Liga, the story became far more complicated. At Bayern Munich, he suffered one of the most haunting defeats of his career, a 4-0 demolition at the Allianz Arena in the 2014 semi-final. Then, at Manchester City, history repeated itself in 2022. With one foot in the final, leading until the 89th minute, he watched in disbelief as Real Madrid snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. These weren't just defeats. They were footballing nightmares, moments that Guardiola would never want to relive. And yet, just a year later, he orchestrated Manchester City's redemption in the most emphatic way possible. The 4-0 thrashing at the Etihad wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Even Carlo Ancelotti had to concede. City were simply too strong, too perfect. European football has witnessed countless iconic rivalries, but few have continuously produced moments of pure drama like Manchester City versus Real Madrid. This is more than just a battle between two great teams. It's a clash of footballing ideologies, a duel between two different eras of the beautiful game. On one side stands the old ruler, the royal club, draped in the legendary white shirt, its fabric woven with the DNA of victory, its triumphs spanning decades of European dominance. On the other, a rising force, reborn from the ashes of the past, sculpted by Pep Guardiola into a footballing powerhouse, carrying the burning ambition to establish a new dynasty in European football. Every time they meet, it is never just a game. It is a clash of eras, experience versus youth, Champions League pedigree against the hunger to seize the throne. And now, as another epic chapter unfolds, the stakes could not be higher. If Manchester City triumph, they will solidify their place among the footballing elite, proving that their rise is no longer just a challenge but an undeniable reality. But if Real Madrid once again haunt them, the world will once more bow to a team that simply refuses to fall. Will the throne welcome a new ruler, or will the empire of the kings endure? The answer awaits at the Etihad and the Bernabeu.